Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a review of the latest album by the super talented singer, songwriter, and producer Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. This is a special review for me because the very first video I ever uploaded to this channel was actually a review of her previous album, Happier Than Ever, all the way back in 2021. And lucky for me, unfortunately for you, the video is private so you can't really see it, but it's really weird to go back to it and see how different my face was and the way that my voice sounded. It seems that I've aged so much only in 3 years that it's a little bit embarrassing. Being her third studio album, I wasn't all that excited about this record, I have to confess, mainly because Happier Than Ever for me wasn't a good record. I think that she was running out of ideas. You can only do so much with that style of performing, her breathy low vocals, and it seems like she used up all the good ideas with When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, because that album for me is one of the greatest albums from the last decade. So it seems like she was trying out new sounds and different musical styles to fit her voice instead of trying to make her voice fit more styles. But even though I wasn't excited, I was definitely curious, because if you follow Billie as a celebrity, you know that she has changed quite a lot in this past couple of years. Her looks, she definitely looks livelier, happier, skinnier. She looks more healthy. It seems like more confidence emanates from Billie as the years go by, and I was wondering if the newfound confidence, not only in her body but also in her sexuality, would translate to the music in the form of a new style, a different type of performance. And for the most part, I was kind of right, because even though the very first song on this album, Skinny, seems to be a letter to us fans, letting us know that she is still vulnerable, she cries, she's still the same person she was 3 years ago. But when you listen to these lines, she sings in such a secure and confident way that it's almost hard to believe that she feels vulnerable, especially because towards the end of the track you listen to this beautiful vocal runs with a lot of chest voice, a lot of power and charisma, exactly what I've been wanting Billie to do since the very first song I ever heard from her. In my opinion, this breathy, low volume vocals work really well in a lot of scenarios, but you also need to have versatility in your performance, which was exactly what she lacked in every single project she has released. Even in albums like When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, I feel like she could have used a little more power in more than a few scenarios in that album. And the fact that she definitely learned to use her voice in different ways in this album is one of the best things I take from this project. And in this particular song, by the end of the track, these vocal runs are so beautiful. They touch my eardrum in ways that kind of feel illegal, and even though she uses this entire first song to portray herself as this vulnerable being, she's quick to get back the confidence in songs like Lunch, for example, where she's very open about her sexuality. I think this is the first time that Billie refers to her partner in a song as a female, and is filled with sexual innuendos, bending over, face sitting, someone dancing in the tip of your tongue. It's just really childish and kind of corny, this entire thing. I believe this is the type of comments you'd see in a TikTok comment section when the video is a girl shaking her ass. It's not the best lyricism, but it's entertaining and it's actually kind of funny, and I'm glad to see her being so comfortable with her sexuality and being so open about the way she feels about this lady. Then you have the track Chihiro. If you guys don't know, Chihiro is the name of the protagonist of a really popular Studio Ghibli movie called Spirited Away, released in 2001, the only anime movie to ever get an Oscar, if I'm not wrong. One of my personal favorite movies of all time, and as someone who has seen the movie multiple times in multiple different languages, I don't know why this song has this title, because there's very few references to the movie. Actually, there's only a few, and there's kind of like describing scenarios of something that happened in the movie. I don't want to spoil you in case you haven't seen it, but the song and the movie don't really connect that well. There's no references or clear references to the movie, which makes me wonder why she decided to call this song that name. Even the instrumental doesn't really match with the type of atmosphere that the movie has. So I don't really understand why it has that title, but the song itself isn't really all that interesting. It seems like starting from that point in the album, Billie Eilish go back to her usual storytelling formula where she sings in low breathy vocals, and that's pretty much it, where she sings about heartbreak and overcoming hardship. The same thing we've been listening from her since the very first EP she ever released. So for me, this is not such an interesting song. It's beautiful, and if you like her form of performing and the way that she tells a story, then you're gonna enjoy it, but it's nothing new, which is what you hope for when you listen to a new album. However, the album does pick up quite a bit with the song Birds of a Feather, which in my opinion is the best Billie Eilish song ever. I've listened to every single one of her songs, every single one of her projects multiple times, and still there's no other song that left such a positive, first impression than this track. When I listened to it for the first time, I was truly enjoying it, and this is coming from someone who wasn't really expecting all that much from this album, but the echoing vocals, the calypso sounds in the background, the use of synths, and how Billie's voice, it sounds so powerful but also so hypnotic. It's almost like a siren is the one singing the song, not Billie. The atmosphere of this track is truly beautiful. I was kind of hoping that I would listen to more songs like this one further down the album, but sadly this is the only instance in which the album takes this dance pop atmospheric type of sound. The rest of the songs are once again just storytelling songs about, Billie's hardships with love and falling out of love, which leads me to songs like Wildflower and Love of My Life, which are beautiful songs. I have to say that I truly do enjoy a lot of the compositions in this album. However, it falls back to the same thing I said at the beginning of this video. Billie has to change it up a bit. If not, you're gonna find yourself doing something like Taylor Swift, where she releases good quality music. Her music is not bad by all means. It's just that we've heard this song over and over again multiple times throughout your discography. In Taylor Swift's case, at least you have like 11 albums. Billie Eilish only has 3 albums and then 2 EPs, I believe. And still I find this repetitiveness in her music that I can't shake off my head. So I don't really understand if songs like Bad Guy, if songs like You Should See Me in a Crown, if songs like Birds of a Feather have proven to be so good and so enjoyable, and the fans resonate with those songs too, because Birds of a Feather is one of the most popular songs from the album. Why does she still continue to make these storytelling, slow-paced tracks that, yes, are beautiful, but seem to be getting kind of old? Mainly because it feels like you're listening to the same song over and over again. The melody, it's really similar, incredibly similar. Listen to a lot of the songs from the Don't Smile at Me EP and When We'll Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? The vocal melodies are almost identical. The way she uses her voice are almost identical. And that is when she actually just sings over a simple beat. Sometimes she puts this weird effects on her voice, like in the track The Dinner, where she adds voice mods for it to sound more robotic, but the track didn't really need that. The lyrics and the instrumentation have nothing robotic going on. So why is your voice sounding like that? I don't really know. And the same thing happens in songs like Love of My Life, for example, which is a very vulnerable and emotional song. Is basically a ballad. So she decided to add this dance pop instrumentation at the end of it, breaking the pace of the song and kind of like breaking the whole vulnerability surrounding the track for no reason whatsoever, because the next song isn't really fast paced at all. It's The Dinner, which again is very slow paced. So there's a lot of weird decisions in this album. It kind of seems like she was just trying to add this instrumental passages to add a level of complexity to the album, just to say it's complex. Like, the album didn't really need that, but at the same time I feel like it did need to be a little more layered. It needed more instrumentation. It needed to be a little bit more dense, because for me the main problem with this record is just that it's kind of boring. The first listen, it's obviously interesting and exciting, and you find some melodies that are nice, and her voice is always beautiful. The production on the record is perfect, by the way. It's an amazing thing. She's always had great production on her records, but when you listen to the album a couple more times, you can tell that it's just the same thing over and over again. The same storytelling, the same narratives, the same style of performance. There's a few cases, like in Birds of a Feather, Skinny, and the last song on this album, Blue, where she tries to sing with a little bit more power, and she definitely, achieves this, and she does it really well, and it sounds beautiful, and it sounds charismatic, and I love it. It's the best thing I'm taking out of this album for sure, but at the end of the day, she doesn't really capitalize on it. She always goes back to the breathy vocals, and in my opinion, I've grown tired of those vocals, to be honest. Every time I listen to them, I just want to play something else, because I don't really find it to be that interesting anymore. You've done that already. You have a full album using those type of vocals. You need to do something different now. You need to change the way you do your music, or at least that's what I would like from Billie. An album where she seems a little livelier, a little more exciting, a little more, movement going on. And if you're gonna do an album filled with ballads that is gonna be extremely gloomy and extremely sad, then do that. You know, it worked well for you in the past. I'm pretty sure you can do that just fine in a new album. But the problem is that Billie Eilish constantly plays between being confident and being sad, being confident and being sad, and it kind of doesn't allow the album to have a set pace, and it doesn't allow the listener to enjoy the record as, you know, as a full album. It's almost like you have to pick a few songs out of the record that you enjoyed and then just stick to those. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do, because tracks like Skinny, Birds of a Feather, Lunge, Blue, you know, these are songs that I'm definitely gonna be playing on my way to work when I'm in my car, but the rest of the album just feels like filler to me. And I know that a lot of you, especially young ladies out there, feel related to, you know, a lot of the things that songs like Wildflower and The Greatest and The Dinner are saying, and for that reason the songs kind of like hit close to home and you can enjoy them a lot more. The same thing happens with Taylor Swift. You know, there's a lot of people that enjoy her music only because of how relatable it is, not really because of how it sounds, and I can definitely understand that. But when it comes to rating the album based on the quality of the record overall, you can't really rely only on your own personal experience and how it relates to the album. You have to put evidence of the album being good in this particular thing or in that particular thing, you know, the production, the instrumentation, the performance, blah blah blah. You need to explain to people why the album is good. And when it comes to this album, even though I enjoyed most of it and I do find a lot of songs in here that I'm definitely going to be playing quite often, I have to say that there's not a lot to this album that I can say, you know, it's special or it's relevant to her career. If she decides to do an album where you can see a lot more powerful vocals, where you can see more charisma in her performance style, if you can see Billie actually being super confident and capitalizing on this new style of performing that she used in songs like Skinny, Birds of Feather, and Lunch, then definitely sign me up for another Billie Eilish record, and I'm probably going to enjoy the hell out of that album. But until that time comes, I feel like Billie is taking baby steps into reaching her fully, developed form as an artist and as a songwriter, you know. And until we see that developed form of Billie Eilish, I think that we're going to be left with albums that have a lot of filler, have a lot of songs that you can definitely skip, and have a narrative that it's being repeated over and over again. Even if you see a change in her life in the way that she dressed it seems like she was right when she said that she's still the same person because she's singing about the same things. For that reason, if you are a Billie Eilish fan, definitely do not miss this album. This is going to be a great project for you. And if you're not a fan, you're going to find a lot of things that you enjoy about this album, like the awesome production, the ASMR-ish vocals that Billie has to offer. You know, if this is your first time listening to Billie Eilish, then you're going to enjoy the hell out of this album, you know. But eventually, I feel like you'll grow tired of it and you're gonna want more from her, and that's when songs like Birds of a Feather and Lunch and Bad Guy come into play, offering a different side to her music. Definitely check out songs like the ones I mentioned as highlights in this video, because it really shows her at a more confident and secure in terms of vocals, and in my opinion that makes a whole difference and it elevates her performance and her quality as an artist overall. However, this is only my personal opinion, so if you have your own, and I'm pretty sure you do, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments and I'll make sure to check it out as soon as I can and give you my opinion on your opinion. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. If you want me to talk about any other albums, if you want me to check out a song or an artist, if you want me to talk about a certain topic related to music, feel free to leave that request down below and I'll make sure to check it out, and feel free to request as soon as possible. With that being said, once again, I hope that you guys enjoyed and I hope that I can see you soon with a new video. But until then, bye.